Are you looking to learn the top winning strategies for U.S. college acceptance? Then you're in the right video. Today, in less than 1 hour, we'll dive deep into the most effective strategies you need to know to maximize your chances of college acceptance. Before we begin, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel Obvious and Hidden, go ahead and tap the subscribe button below, and we'll continue to deliver more quality videos to you. Also, if you have any questions along the way, drop them in the comments. I promise to reply to each one with my best insights. Let's get started.
Basically, we are like chicken and we are trying to pick grains and we don't know where to start and what to pick. So today we are going to see how we can play our cards right so that we can pick the right college and go in the right program. So we can see there are so many colleges to pick from, and how we have to choose is one of the key challenges all students face. To start with, I have a few questions for you. Do we know which industry or which field we want the student to spend rest of his life? And do we have the GPA and SAT score? And do we know the budget we have in mind? If we don't know, not a big problem. We are in the right place. So basically, in terms of the college admission process, this is like a puzzle and we have 6 main pieces to that. One is the GPA and how we are going to demonstrate our interest, the college essays and the extracurricular activities we have, and how and from whom we get the recommendation letter and the test score. So pretty much we are going to touch on each and every item in this, and let's move on to the next screen. In terms of picking the colleges, there are various strategies. And I like to start with these two websites. One is US News and the other one is a niche. If you look in the US News, you can select which program we are interested in, and then we can rank the colleges. So here we can see for medical science, it shows Harvard and Johns Hopkins on the top. It shows the cost, the number of enrollment, and it has a lot more details when you look into the website. In a similar fashion, we have in the bottom the niche website. Here also you can select colleges by saying I'm interested in engineering, and it will rank all the colleges and show us the detail. So here if you see, it shows what is the SAT score range for the colleges. By this, we are able to make a decision in last few years, student got this much SAT score and am I in line with that? So this will help us to plan ourselves based on our goals. It also gives the college acceptance rate. So that is a good indicator which gives us a comfort feeling that, okay, there is a good odds that I would get selected here. Now, in terms of how to do a risk mitigation strategy, I would say we have to bucket the colleges into 3 groups, and I call them reach, target, and safety. So target colleges are those colleges which are in line with our scores. So let's say we know our GPA and we know our SAT score and we know the target schools expected GPA and SAT score, and in that way we know that these are the schools most likely I would get in. So let's say we decided to apply for 12 colleges, then I would recommend half of it should go into target. Say you apply 6 colleges in the target range. And you should also apply colleges which are just a step below our SAT and GPA. The reason is some years are challenging. In that years, we want a safety. For that reason, it's always good that you apply few colleges just a level below that. That way you are protected even if you're unlucky that year you don't get into your target. And I would also recommend apply 3 colleges in reach which are a step above the student's GPA and SAT, because some years you may be lucky enough to get into your reach. So that is how we can do a risk mitigation. You should apply more colleges in target and few on the reach and few on the safety. That way you are well protected. Now comes the question, how many applications you should turn in. So I have seen students who have done 20, 24 application. I have seen students who have done like 4 or 5 application. So the answer is it depends on the student. Some students, they say they have the bandwidth. In that case, you can do more. Some students, they say, I know this is my interest, this is the college I want to apply and I know I will get in. In that case, you can go lower. So if you apply too many colleges, then you run out of time because you have to prepare essays. Maybe you have to go in for interview, you have to do application. So you don't want to apply too many colleges because then you run out of time. And the challenge in applying too little is that sometimes you go out of luck because you're applying only for 3 or 4 and you may become unlucky. So that's the reason you have to pick a number where you don't want to overkill and spend little time on each application. The same time, you don't want to be too less that you are out of luck. But I'm not going to give you a specific number. The reason being it depends on the student. Different students have different interest, different bandwidth. So they would decide what is the exact number they would like to go with. Okay. Now let's talk about University of Notre Dame. You can see Fighting Irish 1842. Once I say that, this University of Notre Dame is very much into football, right? And it's a private university, as we all know. And if you go to niche website, there we can see the scatter plot of all the students who are accepted in last few years. And in this scatter plot, I can see most students with GPA above 3.8 and SAT score, let's say around 1200 and above, or even 1300 and above, are most likely to get into this university. Wait, I see a student here with a GPA close to 2.5 and SAT score around 1200. Even that particular data point got into this university. How is that possible? That's because university look into many other factors other than SAT and GPA. As we know, Notre Dame is known for football. Maybe that student is a national level or state level football player and the coach wanted that particular student. Maybe that's the reason, right? So what we learn from this is we have to do our homework, identify which school needs what flavors of students and which one is in line with our interest, and that way we can manage to get into this program. Okay, now let's look into the next screen. Here, we all know University of Michigan is a great public school. And in this, I have two scatter plot, both coming from niche website. On the top is all in-state students who were accepted in last few years. We can see once again GPA around 3.8 and above, and SAT score even higher, maybe 1250 or so, right? Most probably they get into University of Michigan. This is for in-state. Now let's look into out-of-state. This out-of-state is more scattered around, right? So I can see students with little, let's say GPA even 3.5 or even less, and SAT score also less, are able to get in. Now let's look in from the university's perspective. Do university prefer out-of-state student or in-state student? Of course, they prefer out-of-state student because they bring in more revenue for the school. That being said, here is a question for you. Are you willing to pay the extra dollars to get into your dream school even though it is out of state? I know many students say, I prefer in-state because the fees are less. Now the question for you, or the question for the student to discuss with the parent, is are you willing to pay the extra dollar to get into your school even though it is out of state? Look at this scatter plot. They will help you in making your decisions. Okay. Okay. This is a good screenshot which shows the difference of in-state and out-of-state. In a similar way, you can do lots of different analysis from the niche website. So here I have three buckets, and students' effort can be grouped in three categories: intrinsic effort, extrinsic effort, and fortune. In intrinsic, I have two main items. One is GPA and SAT. That's it. So these two are absolutely necessary, no doubt about it, but they are not sufficient. Okay, that being said, then what else is needed? So we need many other things which are covered in the extrinsic effort, which is motivational essay, recommendation letters, volunteer internship, extracurricular activities like sports, music, and what competition the student is going to take part, math, science, and if possible, is the student making any paper publication, right? And then talking about fortune, can I say it's just a luck and we can drop it? I would say no. When it comes to fortune, we can overcome that. There are two ways to overcome it. One, before you take any exam or test, you have to prepare well in all possible avenues. Let's say you're going to take a math test, make sure you covered all the chapter, right? And always give your best shot and never give up. And the second thing is you should opportunities always comes around you. You should not let go any opportunity. If you do these two strategy, I am sure you can overcome fortune as well. Okay, with that, let's move to the next topic, GPA and SAT. Here you can see we have various publications. We have College Board, we have Princeton Review, Kaplan, Barron's, and McGraw-Hill. If you go to your public library, you can find all these books. And my favorite, or which I think is most productive in today's world, is Khan Academy. The reason is Khan Academy is all online, and now SAT is also moving on to online tests. So that being said, I recommend Khan Academy, and then you should do sample questions from College Board. I would say these two are the best starting point. Khan Academy and College Board sample questions. If you do these two and you're able to get good scores, excellent, then you are golden. But let's say, in spite of these two, your scores are not meeting your expectation. So you have your dream college and you're not able to meet to that expectation. So now is the question for you. There are two ways to handle the situation. If you think you can improve your SAT score by just retaking it with your preparation, just go for it. Take few more months, prepare and take the test again. But if you think the gap is big, then it's time you consult your parents. Maybe you need a coaching, and then you can take the test as well. So I would say the starting point is Khan Academy and some sample question, and then as it goes, you can plan yourself. Now talking about the courses, there are various courses in most high school. The first one is the honors course, which is offered by the school itself. Okay, and the course curriculum would vary from school to school. So it is specific. So it is tailor-made, specific to the school's need, or the faculty or the teacher would make the decision. And then we have this advanced placement. And when I say advanced placement, this is a national program which is run by the College Board. And the College Board is the same organization which runs the SAT exam as well. So this AP courses are little challenging, and they say it is to the college standard. That being said, what's the benefit? When you apply for colleges, if you have done the AP courses and the college see that, there are two benefits. Some colleges say that you can skip one or two levels of the courses and straight away go to the next level. That's one benefit. And the second benefit is it looks good on your transcript that you have done quality courses or college level courses. So that reflects good on you. So that being said, do I do AP course for all the subject? I would say no, because if you do too many AP course, then you are burning yourself. So try to select how many AP course you can do in a year or in a particular term, and do as much as your bandwidth allows. Because if you do too many AP course and then your grade slides, that will harm you more. So I would recommend, let's say you are interested in engineering, then do AP course in maths and physics. If you're interested in medical science, then do AP course in biology and chemistry. So based on what you are interested to pursue your career, do your AP course in those subjects, and you can do honors course in the remaining subject. That way you can balance your course load. Okay, and talking about IB, like International Baccalaureate Program, not all high school offer this. And if you're interested in studying in foreign universities, maybe Canada or Europe, then this may be of some help, where you can do courses in IB, and foreign universities may look into that. Okay, so with that, let's move to the next slide. Now, talking about competitions. So, if you're interested in, let's say, engineering or computer science or even math, or for that matter, any STEM program, I would say math competition is absolutely necessary. There are various math competitions. These are the math competitions which I know of. Not necessary you have to do the same math competition. You can just Google and look for math competitions which are available in your town, and you can do those courses, those competitions. But I have given few, maybe we can just touch upon that. So we have this Stanford math tournament, and then we have this Harvard MIT, and we all may be familiar with AMC 10, 12. And similarly we have Princeton, and we have Johns Hopkins. Okay, there are many other competitions. So look into the content of the challenge. Look into the challenge of the program, and if they are in line or a step above, you should explore that. Don't do the competition which you file way too easy, because then you're not challenging yourself. So I want the student to be challenged and also perform well. So you have to look into both these factors and decide which competitions you want to take part. Okay, now let's look into science competitions. So there are various competitions in science, and I have given a like here you can see like some of them, but not necessarily this is an exhaustive list. Okay, if you're interested in computer science, I would recommend USACO, which is the USA Computing Olympiad. On the bottom, you can see that. And you have the Cyber Patriot. Those two I would recommend. Okay. And in general, for science, and the best I would recommend is the Regeneron, and there are two of them. We have ISEF, and then we have Science Talent Search. Similarly, we have for robotics, and we have this MIT. And if you're interested in business, then we have Diamond Challenge and FBLA. So there are lots of options. So these are just handful of them. Look into those and look into anything else as well. So the more competition you do, it's good on you, but at the same time, make sure you are keeping your focus on the core thing, which is the GPA and SAT as well, right? So you have to plan yourself, and that the student has to decide on how to manage the time across all these activities. Okay, I like this picture of a duck. When you go to any lake or pond, you would see the duck sailing, and it's a calm atmosphere. But what I like the most is this duck is pedaling like hell underneath, right? So this is what I want to see in all students, where you are working hard and doing things far more than reach. What are the things we can do? Maybe you can publish a paper. Maybe you can publish a book, and you can write an article. You can do internship, right? So when I say paper publishing, people think it's way too far a fetch, but it's not so. That there are journals which are right in line for high school or for undergraduate students. So you have this Young Scientist Journal, which is run by Vanderbilt, and then we have the Stanford Intersect, which is run by the undergraduate students in Stanford, and we have the STEM Fellowship Journal, which is run by Canadian Science Publishing. So there are a lot more institutions where you can publish. So what science project or math project or whatever you do, you can think of those and extend that into a publication, and you can reach out to few of them and try to publish. If you're interested in literature, you can publish a book and you can publish article. And of course, you should keep an eye on the internship, and which I know in the junior year, most of them do. And you can try to do even earlier or while in the school as well. Okay, so for example, in hospital, and if you're interested in engineering and technology, then consider doing in an engineering firm or a information technology company. And one more thing I like is in today's world, I find a lot of challenge in doing laboratory research. And good thing about doing projects in computer science is you can do right out of your home. You can do projects in computer science, data science from your home itself, and which actually makes life a lot easier. Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is sports. Okay. There are various options, and I have in two buckets, typical sports and the niche sports. Talking about sport, it is necessary at two different levels. One is to show that you are a all-rounder, and the second one is to show that you want to get recruited into college in sports, which is a lot more challenging, because if you want to get recruited, then you should start doing it from middle school. Okay, and you should be focusing a lot more in sports, and you should be spending a lot more time in sports if you want to get recruited. Okay, now the challenge is how much time you want to spend in sports and in academics. By that you show you are an all-rounder. Once again, the student has to decide that. Okay, in typical sports, mostly you can find in most high schools, we can do all these typical sports. And in niche sports, mostly they are not run by high school, and maybe a town may have a team or may not even have a team. So let's say skiing in whole of New Jersey, maybe there are only 20 or 15 or 25 teams at a like high school level. So what happens is in niche sports, the competition, I won't say it's a lot easier, but it's relatively easier compared to typical sports, because if you take the town of Newark for football or for tennis, maybe there are like 20 teams in just one town. And then think of it, what happens in the whole state of New Jersey and then the whole country, right? So it becomes more challenging in the typical sports. So if you're looking for recruiting in sports and you want to spend your time from middle school, then it's time that you pick a particular sport and focus on that, and then take it further. And you have to do a lot of practice in middle school and in high school. And the challenging part is you have to balance the academic with that, right? So what's the benefit of doing all those things? If you get recruited, then you're going to get scholarship. And so you will get sports scholarship, and you fall in different categories in sports. They call it division 1, 2 and 3, where in division 1 and 2 you get scholarship, and in division 3 you have the benefit. And in addition to that, what happens is, what is the commitment? Because you are able to get the ticket into your dream college, you have to keep up at least 3 years. You have to spend a good amount of time in the sports while you are in college. Like initially, I used to think why the students need to do so much sports when it's crazy busy with academics. But lately, in my observation, I see students who do sports are more disciplined. For example, in rowing, students get up early morning, 5 o'clock, they do the rowing, and then they get back to college courses, and they go to bed in time. So they get more disciplined as well. And above that, you have the benefit of scholarship and good health, right? But they have to get into that rhythm, and it takes time, and that's the challenging part. But once you are in that, life is really cool. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Now we are going to discuss on the motivational essays. And I used to think motivational essay is writing an essay which starts with a hook, and after that we say where we come from, what we are doing, and where we want to go. And I thought essays are too easy to start with. But later I realized there is a lot more to it. When we write an essay, we have to think what sets me apart from other candidates. What is the real reason a university wants to take me in? If I don't have anything different from other university, they are getting thousands of applications. Why will they pick me? So you have to identify yourself, what is unique in you, which the university is going to value, and they would like to bring you in for that. And if you're able to identify that, that will set you apart from other candidates. Now, in terms of writing an essay, let me give you a homework. Think of writing an essay that you are interested in engineering, you are interested in aerospace, you are interested in computer science without using the word passion. So basically, what does it mean is you have to say that you like a program and you have done these activities and you are interested in this program, and for that you have done this. So the reader of the essay will determine that you are the candidate whom they want to bring in. So you should not say, I am passionate and I have done this kind of stuff. So that's the challenge, that write an essay without using the word passion, that you are interested in a particular subject. That will be a good starting point for writing an essay. In terms of recommendation letter, we all know that we have to get recommendation from our school teachers, math, English, science teachers. But in addition to that, you can get recommendation letters from your sports coach if you are very much into sports. You can get from internship location. If you're doing internship, you can get in from them. And now talking about who should give you if you're doing internship, it's not the CEO or the topmost manager in the firm. You have to get recommendation from the individual with whom you work on day-to-day basis, because that's the person who can say what activities you have done, and he can explain about you, that how you are punctual, how you do your work, how you go extra mile and do the work, all those details. So they have to write in detail. So only the person who has interacted with you on a frequent basis will be able to write that, and not the senior most position person in that firm. And if you are attending any religious location places, temple, mosque, or church, even you can get recommendation letter from those locations. Okay, so with that, moving on to next slide. So now here we are going to discuss everything other than SAT and GPA. Okay, so how do you show you are a all-rounder in your application? There are various ways to show that, and the top on the list is the leadership role. So you can show you are a leader by few different activities. In your school you have clubs, you can be running a club, or you have different student like governance position, president, secretary, you can involve in those where you are running those kind of activities. You can be in Boy Scout or Girl Scout program. And the one which I like is the Civil Air Patrol, where you can demonstrate your leadership program as well. And in Civil Air Patrol, in addition to leadership, you can also do various other activities community service, computers, everything. So that's kind of one place where you can do pretty much everything. Okay, now talking about volunteer service and community service, there are various places you can do. Most of you know that we can go to like hospitals and public libraries. In addition, you can also consider American Red Cross, AmeriCorps, and many other groups where you can do volunteer service. Now, this is most important, the internship and professional experience. So based on your interest, if you're interested in engineering, then try to do your internship in those kind of environment, engineering, information technology. If you're interested in healthcare, maybe a hospital or doctor's office. If you're interested in politics, you can do an internship in a law firm, right? Or you can go to even a political office and you can do your internship there. Now, looking into different academics, arts, and sports, that's most important, and we have discussed most of them. And like in academics, like we have different competitions which we discussed about, and we have different science project you can do, and like you have music and sports at a varsity level, junior varsity, and like NCAA and a lot other activities you can explore. If you want to show your interest in a particular college, you should, in addition to that, you should do a university open house tour. That way you can show your interest that you are interested in a particular program. And that way the university knows that you have shown interest, and these are the ways you can show your interest. And some universities, they also have a remote session and you can participate in those as well. And the last one is research and publication. So it's time that you can do research in your school laboratory or at your home through computers. And after doing those research, you can try to take part in various competitions and then follow up with publishing them, right? So this is a sequence of event: doing research, then going for competition and publishing. So I would say you should start doing it in the freshman year, sophomore, and do every year little by little, and you should try exploring this, and if needed, change your project. That way, and every step you learn. Okay. Now let's discuss how do we select which program is right for the student. When I was young, people used to look in the bottom of this diagram, Ikigai diagram, where people used to see which one we get paid the most. Okay, but now things have changed. People are looking into what they love, what they like to do. So we have this two circle. On the top we have what you love, and the bottom we have what you can get paid for. But in addition to these two, there are two other factors we have to look in: what this world needs and what you are good at. For example, I love history, but I find it very challenging to remember all these dates, information. So maybe sometime what I like, I may not be good at that, right? So we have to consider all these factors and then make our decision that which is the right program for us. And I recommend this Ikigai for making decision. So take a paper and pencil, sit down, draw this four circle, and write down different opportunities you can think of, and place them in different circle and decide which one is most likely the best opportunity for you. And in the center is the Ikigai, which satisfies all four criteria. If you find something which satisfies all four criteria, that would be your best option. Now, in terms of which major stream to go with, and I talk to many high school students. Some students come to me and they say, I am interested in neural science, I want to be a surgeon, and some students say, I want to be an international tax accountant. I would say it's too early in a high school to make a decision to select such a niche environment to work with. So when you are in high school, I would recommend that you pick one of these five which you see in the bottom right: STEM, medical program, business economics, law, justice, politics, and liberal arts. Try to pick one of these and stick on to that. Let's say you decide to work in computer science, then it's too early for now to decide that I want to be in cybersecurity. Because before you make the decision, first we need to understand what is computer science. Do you want to be a architect? Do you want to be a developer? Or do you want to be a data scientist? Or you want to be in cybersecurity? First learn little on everything and then make your call which is the right choice. And universities themselves know this, that students have not made their mind, so they give you option to come undecided to university and learn little bit on everything in the first year or even second year, and then you make your call later on that which is the right spot for you. Okay, but at the same time today we don't want to be so open that I'm deciding between liberal arts and STEM. Okay, but we need to have some idea where you want to go, but at the same time you don't want to be too specific while in high school, because first we need to know what the world has to offer us and then we pick the right place for us. Okay, now in terms of college decision and strategies, there are few options. We have early decision, early action, and regular admission. So what this is, if you have a dream college, that is your first choice. Under any cost, I am going to apply for that. And if I get, I will take it. If you have a college of that kind, then you have to go with early decision on that. So if you go with early decision, you have to apply little earlier, and if you are given admission, it's binding. You have to take it and you have to withdraw your application on in whichever other colleges you have applied. That being said, so you don't want to apply early decision in all the colleges, because if you have only one dream college, apply only for that on early decision. Because if you do on other colleges and your second and third choice, you get early decision, then you have to give up your first choice, right? So early decision, I would recommend go for just the best one, which is top on your priority list. Then you have this early action, which is non-binding, but you have to turn in little earlier for this. And every universities have different rules in terms of early decision, early action. So today I would go at a higher level and explain this concept. But if you want to understand the exact detail, what are the rules and by which timeline, then you have to make a decision which college we are talking about and then look into the university website. So in some colleges in early action, they have a rule that you can apply only for one private university for early action. So these rules are little different from university to the university. So look into the specific detail. So only the catch is early action you apply little earlier and it's non-binding. Okay. Now talking about regular admission, you get the extra time to apply. So that way you have time to think over, revise your application and apply as it goes. And it's non-binding. That's a good thing. But the downside is needle in the haystack. So now we have thousands of application. How can you stand out, right? On the other hand, if you do early decision, the university knows that you are interested in that program. So they would give some preference for you because you are binding and you are committed for that particular program. So in those aspects, early decision and regular admission are in the opposite end. That here you get some advantage and there it's like needle in the haystack. Okay, now let's talk about how do we fund our education. I have listed various options in the priority order. On the left hand side, we have the grants. On the right hand side, I have all the loans. Okay, so every university has the financial aid office, and this financial aid office will do the grant to start with. And the grant is basically need basis, and they do not go by merit. So what happens is the student and the parent will do the FAFSA form, and after doing the FAFSA form where they declare parental income and assets and the student's need and all those information, and based on that, the student will be given some grant. And sometime what happens is student may need some scholarship, and they can get scholarship through different routes, and one is through the academic excellence, and you can get through sports, and you can get through ROTC, military service. Okay, this is something very which many people don't know. Like ROTC is where you are committing that I want to join the military. It can be Air Force, Navy, or Army, that I am interested in armed services. And after my BS program, I would join the Army and I would work for 5 years, and they would sponsor your education. In addition, they would give you compensation, and they will fully pay for your tuition, right? So this is binding in a way that you are committing that you will work for them. So whenever you sign up for these kind of thing, I would say read up on the what the understanding is, and if you're comfortable, go for it, right? So both this grants and scholarship, or you don't have to repay them. The next two option I would recommend is 5 to 9 plan, where the parents can start saving for the children in the 5 to 9 plan, and where you can save money, and the money grows up in the 5 to 9 plan when the kids are in the middle school or high school, or so the we and the parents have the time to save money over a period of time, and then we can spend it on their college when they are in college. And different school have work study program where the students can work while in campus, and that's also one option. In terms of loan, we have subsidized loan, where the interest accrued while the student is in college is paid by the government. So that's the most preferred loan, but the catch is you don't get a big amount. It's a small amount on subsidized loan, 7,000, 5,000, depending on different years. We will be given a smaller portion for the subsidized loan. Then the second option will be unsubsidized, which is a federal government loan. We can get unsubsidized loan and we can pay. And we have other options. We have state government loan in New Jersey, and we have private loans as well. And if nothing is working out, we can always depend on family support. Okay. Now, let's look from the university's perspective. What is university looking for? So this is a two-way street. The engagement happens when it's beneficial for both the university and the student. That's when we get engaged and we go into the program. So for each and every student, when they are admitted, university would look from their perspective. Can this student handle the rigor, competition, course load? Because they want to make sure the student doesn't drop out in between, and if the student drops out in between, it's not beneficial to university or for the student, right? So that's one important factor. So you have to demonstrate in your essays and in your application what kind of rigor and challenges you have taken in life, and that gives them the comfort. And the university also wants to make sure that you or the students are going to keep up the university reputation, bring up the ranking, and of course you pay the tuition. And later when you become alum, you will bring in more funds in terms of donation and other activities. So you have to show what you have done. So let's say you have done some entrepreneur project. Let's say you've done some projects. So you have to show all those activity and say down the line, I would be something like Sundar Pichai, or I would be like Elon Musk, and do something like this. But at the same time, you should make yourself very humble in your presentation and say what you have done so that the university can correlate that you would be a great alum down the line. Okay, now let's bring everything together and see how we can understand this whole thing in one picture. So here I have a graph. In the x-axis, I have the student's GPA and SAT score. In the y-axis, I have university in ranking order. Point to note, these figures are not to any scale, right? So of course we have like Stanford, MIT, Cornell, all the way on the top. And on the GPS, we have on the x-axis, let's say GPA of 4 is all the way in the right and 1 and 2 is on the left. Okay, I intentionally haven't put any numbers because these figures are not to any scale. So now, how is the relationship of students getting in between university ranking and the GPA? Of course, it's a upward trending, right? As students have better scores, better GPA, they will get into their dream colleges where they want to get in. But here is a catch. Even if you have full GPA and full SAT score, you are not able to get to the top school because the graph stops here. There is asymptote kind of activity that it doesn't go above this. So how do we get to those schools where even a student with full score are not able to get in? So for that, we have to look into extrinsic effort, which we discussed some time back. So we need to have intrinsic and extrinsic effort in combination to get to the top schools. Only then we are able to reach the school we need to. And of course, this is a fortune part which we discussed how to overcome that, right? So that rides over both of this. Now, here we have this line which shows a student with lower GPA can get into the same school with this extrinsic effort which a student with full 4 GPA is able to get in, right? So if you have a higher GPA and also extrinsic effort, you are able to reach even higher. So that's what this graph explains, how the combination of these two will fetch you your dream college. So intrinsic effort is necessary but not sufficient. Okay. So now let's if you ask me, can I explain whatever I told you today in one slide, then this is what I would say, that to be successful in college, stay focused, keep a to-do list, make sure nothing falls out of the crack, and always do the right thing. Don't do anything which is easy. Don't cut any corners. Do the right thing, whatever it costs you. And the topmost thing is hard work, as there is no substitute for that, right? So if you keep on top of all these things, you would be successful. And I would say whatever you do, do it with great passion. That will give you sense of satisfaction and a perfection in your work, right? So with that, let me end this presentation, and maybe we can have some Q&A questions. So if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and feel free to ask the questions you have. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So something that didn't exist when I was applying to schools many years ago, the Common App.
Yes.
Do all schools accept that? And which parts overlap? Like, so is the Common App, can you write like one essay for all schools, or is it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like your biographical information and your GPA and stuff like that? Or what does that cover?
Sure. Yeah. First, I thank you for asking this question. Okay. Yeah, common app is what happens is most colleges they come together and in this common app where we fill one application and most basic information goes through common app. But every university may have a general essay like why are you interested in the program kind of stuff. At the same time, some essays are specific to the universities. So if you're applying to University of Southern California and they ask you why you are interested in this program, then your answer is very specific. I visited the laboratory, I like this program, I want to be in sports, this is what I'm interested in. So that's more specific. So you can write essays specific, and at the same time you can be generic as well. But common app also has limitation that 8 or 9 can be in common app. So if you're applying too many colleges, then there is a challenge. So what I would recommend is, for example, if you're applying to UC, there are a lot of UCs in California, and you can have a UC separate application like common app, and then you can have one common app. So that way you can plan yourself, and you can say I have this top 8 I will go through common app, these 3 I will do separate. So you can plan, and this is very specific. So once you make your decision which colleges the student wants to apply, and then you can make your call which one should go in common app and which one should go outside. You can plan. Yes, so there are specific details. So you have to look into those things based on college and the common app, and then make the call.
Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Obvious and Hidden, and share it with others. Also, let me know your questions or thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.